Well, out here today doing the big shed hunt. This is usually my best spot every year. This is my dad's uncle's farm and the neighbor's horse farm. Up here on the grassy hill. Last year I found like 6 of them up here. I'm about halfway done with this. Just came across the first one. Every year there's just more and more garbage up here from these coyotes carrying it up here. There's a couple bottles and all kinds of garbage up here. Chew toys, leg bones, and piece of tarp and a shed. So I mean these sheds up here, maybe that's another reason why I've only found one up here, and it's an old one, is because last year I came in here, April 1st was when I did the big shed hunt, and almost every shed I found up here had chew marks from coyotes. So they could be finding them down there in the marsh and then bringing them up here, but I know the deer do bed up here too. And once again, this thing's been carried around all year. All kinds of chew marks from the coyote's teeth on the tines. I probably have the other side from last year, not sure. I found a bunch of little ones here last year and a couple decent ones. But yeah, obviously year old, and obviously wasn't right here last year. I would have seen this. Pretty easy shed hunting here on this grassy hill. See what I mean by garbage? Even this stick was probably brought up here. I mean, these coyotes are just carrying all kinds of stuff up here, including sheds. Every year I find old ones up here that weren't here the year prior, which is actually kind of nice because I could find them down there in the swamp in a hard spot to see them, bring them up here and drop them off for me in an easy spot. So it kind of works out. Well, just camp on number 2. I just walked a little bit of hardwoods over there, and now I'm back on this farther end of this grassy hill. Again, it's an old one. It's even smaller. I mean, I walked right through here last year and every year, so this is most likely brought up here by coyotes. Probably just a year old, who knows. I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't found anything fresh yet, so we'll see. Well, just came up on probably the number 1 buck out here. This is, if it's the buck I think he is. So down here, the hill is up there. Then the swamp is over there, which I haven't got into yet. Surprisingly, I don't do as good as I normally. I only find like 1 or 2 sheds in the swamp over there. Most years, everything's out here in the grass. But this little thicket between the pond and the hill, I have found sheds in here, but it's usually at best 1 a year or less. So I'm just kind of walking up like this, and then boom. Because, I mean, it is kind of a lot of water in here, but when there's ice and stuff, I would assume they'd be bedding in here. Man, you know what? That's gotta be fresh, but wow. That looks like it dropped a super long time ago. It's all chewed up by the coyotes, so that's obviously not where it fell. That's what I mean, like these coyotes, they're just dragging these sheds. There's a ton of coyotes that live up on that hill. Dens everywhere. So they're just dragging sheds and leaving them in the grass. I mean, this is, man, that dropped this is probably not even the buck I think it is. Let me get some pictures. Wow, that's honestly hard to tell if that's him or not. I mean, that's gotta be. I'm trying to think if there was a buck around last year that looked like that. You know what? This could be. Honestly, I have no idea which buck this is, and even if it's fresh or not, because there's like no wax ring. Really chewed up by the coyotes on the tines. Not like damage, but I honestly don't even know if that's from this year or not. It could be like a really well preserved shed from last year, but I don't know. Although I think he was missing a brow tine on one side, so it's probably that buck. I have to look at some pictures, but I don't know. Pretty cool though. Yeah, I just quick looked at some pictures. This is definitely not the buck I was thinking it was. The one that showed up late season here. This is probably from last year. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, it's definitely from last year. There was like a 10-pointer, like about like this, that showed up late season too, I think. I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's a year old. Pretty crazy. Just walking this trail right here, and then boom, right here, a little one. This looks like this could be the first fresh one. Better be. Yeah, that's fresh, I think. Probably an early dropper, but I just checked a camera I have back there in the swamp a little bit. I haven't checked it since late October, and there was like that 3-year-old 10 and like a 1.5-year-old 9-point and a 1.5-year-old guy like this, all still holding, just walking through right there in the last week. So I might not hit this swamp super hard today. Might head over closer to my Nebraska plot where I found 2 like super early drops in January, and walk that bedding area over there and kind of like leave this stuff alone. Even though I walked all that grass out there, just found old stuff. I thought that was kind of strange, but I might have to hit some of that again. But it took about probably 3-4 hours to cover what I did over there, so it was kind of a maybe somewhat of a waste, but I'm still at 4 for the day though, so or at least we're finding them. No way. I just walked up on a match set. This is a buck that I have a couple pictures of here and there. A few pictures at my grandparents' farm, which is maybe half a mile that way. And then a couple pictures on my relative's land just right up here. This buck is not around a whole lot, but it's kind of a surprise that I walked up on him. But now that I think about it, I do have a couple pictures of him somewhat recent up in one of our food plots up there, like in mid-February. So this is probably when he shed. I seen the first one from like way back here, and I didn't even see the second one right there until I walked right up on him. Usually when they lay tines down, it's almost always easier to see them. Like literally I got like right here before I seen the other one. I was so focused on that one. Awesome. Let me get a couple pictures. It's probably just a really nice 2-year-old, honestly. Quite a bit of wax on there yet. But yeah, like I was saying, this is probably just a nice 2-year-old. There's some pretty nice 2- and 3-year-olds around here. They get big quick. But again, this is kind of a shorter tine buck. He's probably only going to top out at 140, 150. Who knows? He might be a 10 next year. Awesome. That's pretty sweet. Was not expecting that, especially this buck. I mean, there's a couple other bucks I was hoping to find in here, that giant 8, but I'm not gonna be able to cover it all today, so we'll see. Well, sometimes when you're out in the rain like this, you think it'd be impossible to miss one. Everything's wet, overcast skies. A lot of times they just pop out so much easier, but I literally just walked right up on top of this one, almost stepped on it. All right, so the shed's in the picture right now. Just heading up this way. I'm kind of scanning out a little further, I guess. Going like this. And right here's when I seen it. I mean, it's not really a little one either, but it's not huge. But I literally was this close, you know, when I seen it in these perfect rainy, cloudy conditions. Looks like definitely from this year. Pretty fresh looking, actually. The whole wax ring's there, pretty much. Just a nice kind of tight curl, 2-year-old, good beating. Nice. Well, just camp on another antler out here at the family farm. I've been waiting to go through the swamp in our hill right here, probably like 10 to 15 acres in total. I did find that one in the shed plot just right out there by the corn and beans long time ago, late January. That was like the second shed I found of the year. And last time I checked cameras out here, like late February, there was still a couple bucks holding. I'm not sure if this is one of them, but this is definitely looks like a 4-point side from here. All right, so like I said, the food plot's just right over there. I got more food over there. The hill's right behind me here. I got all my trees, and last year I found a 4-point just like maybe 50 yards that way. And it's right there, kind of on that trail. This is all pretty much just nighttime bedding in here, I would assume. Pretty good trails in here. I haven't been in here since like, man, probably like last September, like really walking around a lot in here. Looks kind of fresh. The full wax rings there, but I guess it is kind of in the shade here. All right. Yeah, pretty dark antler. There was a couple. I think I might know which buck this is off of. But yeah, pretty nice. Nice dark. Sweet. Well, I just got started over here. I already got one. This is a farm right across the road from my relative's land. I've had permission here for a couple years now. I've never really found a whole lot here in the past. It's been at least 2 or 3 years since I've been here, but the only reason why I'm here is because there's that giant 8-pointer in the neighborhood. So I seen that there was a couple piles of hair right there. I was just gonna walk the tree line down, and then I seen this dead deer out here. I get up here, and there's a shed right there. It's not the big giant 8, but it's an 4-point side. I can guarantee you this probably has coyote chew marks on it, because there's a lot of coyotes on this property. You know what? This is probably him. Dead shed buck. This is probably the buck that shed really early. For sure. Yep. That's his dead body right there. Over there on my relative's land, I found the other side like a week ago or so. Yep. A ton of chew marks. This buck is dead. I had pictures of him right over there in the brassica plot. I think it was like late December 25th or something. And I found the other side on the top of the hardwoods, honeysuckle hill. Look at that, it's starting to snow now. So this buck is a goner. You can see no wax ring on it, but I do have the other side, so that's pretty cool. Just got started too. Man, almost walked by, or I did walk by this one, almost walked by it a second time. I think it's fresh, but it could be old. Like I said, I haven't walked this in a couple of years. Wow. So I had just walked on the edge of that grass, and earlier today I came through like right there on the other side of that, or right underneath that really big maple tree. I was just out there. I was about to go this way around, but I came in right here, and I remember walking right by this dead ash tree. Oh, right there goes a deer. I was just on the other side of that ash tree, whatever, 30 minutes ago. Now I'm heading up like this, glance over, boom. Might be old. I think it probably is. For sure. chewed pretty bad, obviously, but huh. Yeah, just 1 year old, I'd say. I'd have to look through pictures, but I don't know if I quite really recognize this buck. Honestly, it's not really jumping out. Looks like it's probably a 2 or a 3 year old. Doesn't have the greatest mass, but good frame, good length. Like I said, my relative's land is just right across the road. I run trail cameras over there from basically September till now, springtime. So I can't believe it's not really jumping out at me which buck this could be. Although there is quite a bit of across the road over there. There's lots of big areas of cover too. So these bucks could be coming from that direction. Not quite making it south far enough to where my cameras are, but cool. Should have came in here last year. You have got to be kidding me. I just walked up on a buck I know pretty well. Man, this is crazy. Literally 30 yards that way. I just picked up that one. Not even a couple minutes ago. Just walking like this. Boom. Right here's when I first seen it. And the landowner today, in his garage, he had the other side of this buck. This fell 2 years ago. God, I should have walked this. I had no idea this buck was traveling this far. He holds till April every year. He's still holding this year. This is from 2 years ago. I had pictures of him in mid-April with this rack. Last year, I jumped up. Well, maybe this could be from last year, because last year I did jump up like at least 15 deer out of my relative's land. They crossed the road onto this farm, and I seen a giant buck still holding. That was late March. We had just gotten some snow, so I was out checking cameras and doing other stuff, not really shed hunting too hard. And there was a giant buck with all them does. Some of them might have been shedded bucks, but so ever since then I knew that, well, I guess he was making it maybe over here, but I very rarely would get pictures of him on my relative's land across the road. I was getting pretty consistent pictures of him at the family farm right in the food plots close to the road, still holding late March, still holding early April. Man, he's a traveler. Wow, that is impressive. That's the biggest shed of the year, frame-wise. I honestly don't know which year this is from, if it's from 2 years ago, or if it's from last year. Wow. The landowner said he found it out in the middle of the field. He almost ran over with his tractor. Seen it while he was planting or whatever, doing something in the field. And that might have been the same year that this fell. Or like I said, it could be from last year. Man, I gotta show this to him and we'll match it up. We'll see. That is impressive. Wow. So this is from 2 years ago. You can see it doesn't quite have the split formed on the one side. Only one side has it. So the shed that the landowner found is definitely from last year, not 2 years ago. And look at the date here. This is mid-March. This is late March and early April, still holding. Now this is last year. Definitely got less pictures of him last year than 2 years ago. Only a couple pictures during the rut, 1 or 2 pictures in December, and then here he is again, late or early April, still holding. And this year, I got even less pictures of him. This is the first picture I had of him this year, December, and then now all of a sudden he's showing up mid-March, and I would expect him to hold until April again. You got to be kidding me! I totally should have came in here in the past 2 years. I just came up on another one. I mean, they're just all laying in really weird spots. Old fence right here, pretty thick, some brush pushed in. Shed right here. This looks like the other side of the one I just found, the smaller one. It's gotta be. Wow, that is all chewed to nothing. Man, where the heck are the fresh ones? I found that first one way out there on the edge of that woods, that field, but found 3 old ones so far in here. I'm gonna get out the other side. It's probably a match. Again, basically, this big one was laying 10 yards that way, 20 yards, whatever, crazy. That right there is definitely probably a match. Man, they were not even 100 yards apart. And like I said, these could be 2 years ago. It's hard to tell. They're not really they're pretty smooth yet. They're not really chalky feeling, but it's hard to tell. From pictures, I'll definitely be able to tell from when this one was from, I think. Wow.